You've been eating the wrong way your entire life, and it has nothing to do with what's on your plate. You probably already tried cutting out the junk. You added superfoods. You ditched the ultra-processed stuff. But the brain fog is still there. Your hair is still thinning. Your gut is still bloated after every meal. You're still tired by 2 in the afternoon, and you can't figure out why. I know exactly how that feels, because I've been there. At 20 years old, I was puffy, inflamed, losing hair, and walking around with blood pressure readings of 160/100. My doctor wanted to put me on beta blockers. I was 20. That was the moment I realized nobody was going to fix this for me. What I'm going to share with you in the next 10 minutes isn't another list of superfoods to buy. It's something most nutrition influencers never touch, because it doesn't sell anything. And the thing that actually changed everything for me, I'll get to it, but not yet. Let's start with fasting, and not the basic stuff you've already heard 100 times. Most people think fasting is just about skipping breakfast or squeezing your meals into an 8-hour window. That's where the conversation usually ends. But fasting is one of the most powerful biological tools your body has, and most people are using it wrong, or not at all because someone told them it was dangerous. Here's what actually happens when you fast. Your body shifts from burn mode into repair mode. Growth hormone levels rise. Autophagy kicks in. Your cells start cleaning house, breaking down damaged proteins, clearing out debris. Your gut lining gets a chance to heal. Inflammation drops, and your brain, instead of being foggy and sluggish, becomes sharper. Many people report this within just a few days of consistent fasting. According to research, fasting may support everything from metabolic health to hormonal balance to cognitive clarity. But here's what almost nobody talks about, and this is critical. Fasting affects men and women completely differently. The majority of fasting studies were done on men, specifically on a narrow demographic, and the results cannot simply be transferred to women. This isn't a political point. It's a physiological one. If you're a woman and you've tried fasting and felt worse, more anxious, more fatigued, more irritable, that's not a sign that fasting doesn't work for you. It's a sign that you may have been fasting at the wrong time in your cycle. For women, the first half of the menstrual cycle, roughly the first 14 days, is generally the more fasting-friendly phase. Estrogen is rising, insulin sensitivity tends to be higher, and the body handles longer fasting windows better. The second half of the cycle, after ovulation, is a different story. Progesterone rises, the body's caloric needs increase, and pushing through extended fasts during this phase can actually increase cortisol, disrupt sleep, and throw hormones further out of balance. For many women, this phase calls for shorter fasting windows, more nourishing food, and less metabolic stress, not more. Men, on the other hand, generally tolerate longer fasting windows consistently throughout the month. If you're a man and you haven't experimented with extended fasting beyond the standard 16 hours, it's worth exploring. According to research, fasting may support testosterone regulation, lean muscle maintenance, and long-term metabolic health in men. A simple starting point: don't eat anything for 2 to 3 hours before you sleep. That alone gives your body a nightly repair window that compounds over time. The simplest rule: stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. Every night. That's it. You don't need to do anything extreme. Your body will enter a light fasting state overnight, activate autophagy, stabilize growth hormone, and start repairing your gut, all while you sleep. This is one of those changes that sounds almost too simple to matter. But the people who actually do it consistently almost always notice a difference within a few weeks. Now, here's where things get interesting, and this is the part that most nutrition content completely ignores. Your digestive system is not a trash compactor. It's not a machine you can load with anything in any combination and expect it to process efficiently. It's more like a precision laboratory. And just like a lab, it works best under specific conditions that most people violate every single day without realizing it. Your digestion doesn't even start in your stomach. It starts in your hands. Literally, when you touch food, your nervous system begins priming the digestive process. Your eyes trigger anticipatory enzyme release. Your saliva in your mouth begins breaking down carbohydrates the moment you start chewing. By the time food reaches your stomach, the digestive environment should already be calibrated and ready. But here's the problem. That calibration depends heavily on what type of food is coming. And different foods require completely different digestive environments. Fruit is the clearest example. Fruit digests faster than almost any other food. It needs a specific enzymatic environment to break down properly. When you eat fruit with a heavy protein meal, say a steak, the fruit gets stuck waiting behind the slower digesting protein. It starts to ferment. That fermentation produces gas, bloating, and digestive irritation that most people just accept as normal. It's not normal. According to traditional dietary approaches that are now being supported by modern research, fruit is best eaten alone, as a snack, between meals, not as a dessert after a protein-heavy dinner. If you've been eating fruit after dinner and wondering why you feel bloated an hour later, now you know why. Protein combinations are equally important. Meat and dairy together, a burger with cheese, ground beef in a cream sauce, may seem harmless. But these are two very different types of animal protein, and they require different enzymes and different digestive timing. Your body struggles to process them efficiently at the same time. Many people who eliminate this combination report a significant reduction in digestive discomfort, bloating, and post-meal fatigue. The research on food combining is still developing, but many people find meaningful relief when they give these principles a try. The one exception, and this is consistent across almost every food combining framework, is eggs. Eggs are highly bioavailable, relatively easy to digest, and combine well with most other foods. Morning eggs with vegetables, some berries, a bit of orange juice. That works. Eggs are the flexible wildcard. Fats are another flexible addition. According to research, dietary fat actually supports digestion rather than hindering it. It helps absorb fat-soluble vitamins and can improve the overall efficiency of a meal. Don't fear adding butter or quality oils to your food. Here's a practical image. Think about how hunter-gatherer communities eat. Indigenous populations that still follow traditional diets tend to eat one ingredient at a time. They don't combine starchy tubers with meat with fruit. They eat their meat. They eat their roots. They eat their fruit. Not together. And digestive problems as we know them in modern Western societies, irritable gut, chronic bloating, reflux, are largely absent in these populations. Now think about what a modern fast food meal looks like. You've got refined carbohydrates in the bun, sugar in the sauces, gluten in the bread, protein and dairy combined in the patty and cheese, starchy carbs in the fries, a sugary drink on the side. That is every possible digestive conflict stacked into one meal. And most people feel exhausted after eating it. That fatigue isn't in your head. It's your body redirecting enormous resources toward a digestive task it was never designed to handle in one sitting. And this is where the real transformation happens, when you finally understand that food is not just fuel, it's information, it's timing, it's sequence. What you eat matters, but how you eat, when you eat, in what combination, at what point in your hormonal cycle can determine whether that same food heals you or slowly wears you down. This is something I had to learn the hard way. At 20, I was already dealing with problems most people associate with middle age: high blood pressure, inflammation, hair loss, brain fog, a doctor ready to medicate everything, and the answer wasn't a different medication. It was learning to eat differently, not just different foods, but differently. The timing, the combining, the fasting windows, that's what actually shifted things. Here's your one action step for tomorrow. Pick just one thing. Either commit to stopping all eating 2 to 3 hours before you sleep tonight, or eat your fruit alone as a snack, separate from your next protein meal. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Pick one. Do it tomorrow. Notice how you feel in the morning. Which of these patterns do you actually recognize in yourself? Eating fruit as dessert, combining meat and dairy without thinking twice, eating right up until you go to sleep? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and your answer might shape a future video. In the next video, we're going to go deeper into the gender differences in fasting, specifically what the research says about how women can optimize fasting around their cycle without the hormonal fallout. If that's something you want to understand, subscribe now, because that one is going to be dense with practical detail. The information in this video is based on nutritional research and personal experience. It's not a substitute for medical advice. If you have health conditions or are on medication, speak with a doctor before making changes.